Well, hello. This is the Sky Talk from the Elgin School District Planetarium for May 15th through May 28th, 2021. We have a lunar eclipse coming up this segment, and I want to start right away with looking at this beautiful sunset that we have going on. It's about 7:53 in the evening on the 15th, Saturday, the 15th of May, and we had a new moon on May 11th. So just a few days ago, the moon was setting with the sun, but the moon in its orbit moves a little bit every single night, and we've got a beautiful waxing crescent. So notice that the side of the moon that's lit up is the side facing the sun, and when it's really close to it, we only see a little bit of that lit part. But every day, we're going to see more and more of that moon in the sky. And I can sort of show you an example. If we go forward to tomorrow, the 16th, that's where it'll be at the same time. And at the same time on the 17th, it'll be there. And the 18th, it'll be there. And notice it gets bigger each day. So let's go back to today, the 15th. We do have a beautiful sunset coming up. It's 8:03. So we're at 8:01 right now. The sun actually sets beyond the horizon at 8:03. It's 8:16 in 2 weeks. But we should start seeing stars pretty quickly. Now, the first thing, though, that actually comes into view is Venus. Venus is a planet, and it's right there. And boy, is it hard to see with the glare of the sun. Seriously, Venus is really close to the sun. You have to have a really good view of this west-northwest horizon to be able to even see it. But luckily, Mercury has been a little bit higher. I spotted it the other night. Mercury is visible. It's about as bright as a bright star. But again, it's really close to the horizon. If you have trees or houses there, I know it's a little bit tricky to see those two planets. There is a third planet that's up tonight, and that is Mars. I'm going to slow down to regular time so those satellites don't go by so fast. Those are satellites. They happen every single night, all the time. And we have in the southwest, we have, Mars. Mars is right next to the moon tonight. Mars is right next to the moon. I have the moon 8 times bigger than what it really looks in the sky. Otherwise, it looks like a little fuzzy blob on the software. So know that the moon does not cover Mars tonight, but that is how close it is. And remember, the moon moves a little bit each night. So here's where it'll be on the 16th, and there's where it'll be the 17th and the 18th. And on the 18th and the 19th, it's going to be right in Leo the Lion. So let me go back to today. Yeah, look around. This backward question mark, that letter C, that's Leo the Lion, very prominent up high in the southwest sky this time of year. And the moon and Mars are both in Gemini, the twins. And if you're looking west for the next week or two, you'll see the two stars of the twins of Gemini. They're noticeable. And then over here is a bright one called Capella towards the north. It's connected to like a pentagon shape. I call it the house, but it's really a dude driving a chariot named Auriga. But Capella is very bright. And so is this one. That's Procyon of the big dog. Of the little dog. The big dog is already below the horizon. So those make up the brightest stars when we're looking towards the west. And there's the drawings if you like to see those. Leo the Lion, backwards question mark. In a few days, the moon will be right in his mouth. So this is 9 o'clock. I'm going to let it go a little bit later. If we go to roughly, say, 10 o'clock, and that was probably the International Space Station zipping by, 10:20 tonight, this is what the sky will look like if you got a really dark sky. There's Leo the Lion. Right there. There's Gemini the twins. His feet are kind of below the horizon. The moon's about to be gone. And if we look towards the left, like spin our bodies towards the south, we do get to see a little bit of a different view. We still can see Leo the Lion. Let me put up the lines here. We have this bright star here. That's Arcturus. Arcturus is the bottom of what I think looks like an ice cream cone in the sky. And that's if you're facing south. It's right next to Corona Borealis, the crown of the north. That's a great one to look for all summer long. Corona Borealis is the name of that one. And Spica is the other bright one in our southern sky in early summer. Spica and Arcturus. And there's a way to find them if you look towards the north. So pretend like you're spinning your body to the left. We're going to look towards the northeast a little bit. There, I want to keep both of them in view. I'm actually going to back out a little bit just so we can see this easier. We've got the Big Dipper in view right now. It's really high in the sky. And it's pouring out its contents right there. That is the Big Dipper. The handle of the Big Dipper arcs to Arcturus, and you can spike on to Spica. It's a saying we use in astronomy to identify those two. This one's kind of reddish in color, and this one's pretty bright. And then this is really bright Vega, the brightest star in our summer sky. And if you're ever unsure, like, is that Vega or Arcturus? Well, look for the Big Dipper. Use the handle to identify it. It is not the North Star. Obviously, it's in the east. But if you use the pointers in the Big Dipper, act like you're pouring something out of the saucepan using the last two stars. That guides you to the North Star. And there is the small, dimmer, much harder to find Little Dipper right there. Cassiopeia, the Queen, is low on the northern horizon. We've got Hercules right here in between that half circle of Corona Borealis and bright star Vega. If we go a little bit later, what's going to come up are the stars that tonight we would see low in the east. But in July, these are the stars at 1 a.m. These are the stars that you're going to see easily in the evening sky in July. Most noticeable is Vega, super bright star. And then next to it is Deneb. That's the tail of the swan. Might look like that if you imagine it. So here's her long, skinny neck, and those are her wings. And then Altair and Aguila the eagle. These three make up the summer triangle of three separate constellations. And we have the Scorpion right here. Scorpius is up in the summer in the southern sky. And we're at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and an interesting thing happens pretty shortly. We have some other planets coming up. All summer long, Saturn and Jupiter are going to be visible in the eastern sky and gradually shift towards the south and be out earlier. And that looks like a really bright satellite, and it usually is the International Space Station when it's that bright. So at 2:11 a.m. on May 16th, you can get up and see the International Space Station. Use the website Heavens Above, just heavensabove.org, I think it is. Heavens Above is what it's called. And you can put in your location and it'll tell you exactly what time the space station will cross. But we're at 2:10 in the morning. Saturn is just becoming visible. By 3 o'clock, Jupiter's up. Later in the summer, that'll be more like midnight. And then later in the fall, actually late in August, I think they're going to be coming up shortly after sunset, like 10 o'clock or so. So Saturn and Jupiter come up in the east. But if we go forward a few days, we have a lunar eclipse, a partial supermoon lunar eclipse happening early morning on May 26th. So let me pause here and go to the 26th. Instead of the 16th, we're just going to fast forward 10 days. Boom, there we are. The moon actually came up around sunset, and it's been crossing the sky all evening, and there it is. The moon is actually about to go down. So we're going to look in that direction. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And around 4:45, the moon is going to go into the shadow of the earth, that the sun is casting light from behind us. So the moon is going to enter that shadow. And know that it's going to happen at about 4:45. So notice the sky is already starting to turn because we're getting close to sunrise. So it's all not in our favor. But right here, when the moon is just about to disappear, it's going to look like a bite is taken out of it. And when I say look like a bite is taken out of it, I'm talking about that lunar eclipse when it looks like this. Sorry, go up to that picture right here. It'll look like a bite's taken out of it. We're not going to be able to see that part, and we won't even really see that part. It's going to be about half black and half regular gray. There might be some hints of orange, and that orange happens because we get some light from the sun that goes through the Earth's atmosphere at its edges, and only the red makes it to the moon. This is a view from you standing on the moon during a lunar eclipse for us. So as we look here towards the Earth, the sun is directly behind it. That orange glow, that's the brightness from the edge from the sun. And notice you can see the colors of the rainbow here. What happens is this. Let me go back. I'm going backwards in the order that I made them. Sorry. The light from the sun hits the earth. That makes daytime. Nighttime's over here. Well, up here at the edges, all along this terminator line, the light goes through thousands of miles of atmosphere with all sorts of particles like water vapor, and water bends light. So the light waves, they get bent, and some of them actually make it all the way to the moon. Not a lot. It's not super bright, but only the red wavelengths make it to the moon, and that's what gives it that reddish glow. That's why we see that. I get that question a lot. It has nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do with blood or war or guts or violence or anything like that. But boy, people sure like to say that on Facebook and on Instagram and Snapchat, that it's a blood moon, or even worse, a bloody moon. Means nothing. It really isn't that's nothing in astronomy at all. It's actually brown. It's not even red. But you might hear it be called a supermoon, blood moon. Supermoon because the moon is a little closer to us in its orbit than the average. And that's because it doesn't go around us in a perfect circle. And it's not even noticeable. Like you will probably not even notice that the moon looks a tiny bit bigger than a normal full moon during this super full moon. I mean, it's a cool event for sure, but it's called a supermoon because it is a tiny bit bigger. And if you're going to get up that early and look at the moon, make sure you turn a little to the left and look at Jupiter and Saturn in the south. So a lot of cool events to look forward to. We even have a partial solar eclipse coming in June, on June 10th. And again, you have to be up really, really early in the morning because we're only going to see part of it. And it's going to be happening I think, finishing up as the sun comes up, and then it'll be done and we won't be able to see it. So thanks for coming today, and I'll see you next time. And we have a full public webinar sky show on this upcoming Tuesday, May 18th at 6 o'clock. Go to the U46 website and you'll find the link there. And I will see you next time.